What's going on, guys? Welcome to my channel. Before we start, don't forget to hit the like button, and if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe and enable the notifications to get more videos. Also, let me know in the comments what are the next workshops I should do for you guys. So in this video, I will teach you how to internationalize your REST applications using Spring Boot. So what do I mean by that? That means, let's take an example. We have a REST API that returns some strings or some data, and this data, it depends on the country where this application is going to be used. For example, if the application is used from an English-speaking country, we should return all the languages or all the messages and the data, I mean like the texts, they should be in English. For example, if it's in French-speaking country, it should be in French, Arabic, and so on. So in this case, what we need to do is we need to learn how to internationalize our REST applications. So let's get started. So first of all, what we will do, we will create a Spring application or Spring project. All you need to do is just go to start.spring.io and let's create our project. So this is simple. First, the group ID is gonna be called .bouali. The artifact, it's gonna be i18n. And why i18n? The i18n, we have 18 characters between the I and the N of the word internationalization. That's why we call it i18n. So for the description, let's put here the demo project for i18n with Spring Boot, and the package name, it will be com.bouali.i18n. Also, we need jar packaging. So this is classic, and I guess you already saw this in my previous videos. First, we will need here only one dependency, which is the Spring Web, because we need to expose few endpoints. So then you click on generate, and then you import or you open the project with your preferred IDE. So for my case, or for this tutorial, we will be using IntelliJ. Here is our project. First of all, let's start with setting up our project, or what we need for this project. So first, I will create a REST controller. I will call it locale demo controller, for example. I will just change the package to web or API or controllers. It's as you like. I will tell IntelliJ to move it to this package. Yep. Also, what we need to do next is we need to create a config file, and don't worry, we will go line by line and explain all of this. So here, configurations or config, let's just say locale config. It's gonna be locale resolver config file. Also, what we need to do in the resources here, we need to create our properties or messages files. So what we need to do here, so first let's just create a folder, call it whatever you like. Let's just call it here i18n, and then let's create a file. We'll call it messages.properties. This is going to be the main one. I will explain what is the need for this messages.properties. The next one, let's say messages fr.properties. This will hold. Okay, let's deassociate. Yep. And another one, for example, for US or for English. Okay, so this is gonna be also messages _ US dot properties. So here we have two languages, French and English, and we can also add whatever as many as language as we want. As many languages as we want. Yeah. Sorry. So now let's move on and try to understand what we need to do step by step. So first, let's move to this locale resolver config. So to tell Spring that this is a configuration file, we need to add the annotation configuration. And then what we need to create, we need to create a bean. What is a bean? It's a locale, we need to create a bean of type locale resolver, which will tell Spring or our application, yeah, we have a locale resolver, just use it. Okay? So use it to resolve the locales. This is what we are trying to create. So this bean, first, as mentioned, we need the annotation bean to tell Spring that we are creating or we want to create a bean at the startup. And now it's gonna be public locale resolver. Yep. This one, a public locale resolver, let's call it locale resolver. And then what we want to do first, we will create a session locale resolver. Let's call session locale resolver equals new session locale resolver. So here we need to return it. Next, what we need to do, we can set our default locale. For example, if the application is meant to be mainly deployed and available for, let's say, for the US or for any country or any English speaking country, we can say here, or we can do here, session locale dot set default locale, and here we need to use locale.us, for example. And here make sure to use the correct packages. So this is the first one. This is the locale resolver. So now we need to tell Spring from where exactly to fetch this messages properties files. So to do this, we need to go to the application properties, and there is one property that we need to add, which is spring.messages.basename. And in our case, our base or our files or translation files are under the folder i18n /, and the base name is messages. As I told you, Spring is smart enough to determine and to know which file corresponds to which locale or corresponds to which language. Now in our controller, let's create something, or let's create some endpoints to test this. So this one is a REST controller. We add a request. A request mapping. Let's say it's locale, and what we need to do here, we need to create a private final message, not message but message source. Let's call it message source, and let's create a constructor with that to be automatically auto-wired by Spring. So the first endpoint, let's say a public string, say hello. So this method will return our message source dot get message, and here we need our key, the key we already defined in the properties files. Here if we need parameters, in our case not, and we need to get the locale from the locale context holder dot get locale. And like that, Spring, when we invoke this method or this endpoint, it will try to fetch the locale from the locale context holder. So here we need the get mapping annotation. And now let's try to start the application and see what will be the output. Let's go ahead and test it on Postman. So this is our URL, it's locale, and we have the get method. Now let's do send. So it's here, it says hello from fallback file, and by default it got, or it searched the properties or the translation from the fallback file. Here, because it's the default locale, let's go back to our configuration, and the locale we have the US. So what we can do next is this. So let's create a second method. Also we get mapping, public, string, say hello with headers. And in this one we will have a request header. We will give it a name, and it will be accept language. And if you don't know how we can get this correct name, just go to Postman, headers, and then accept language. And also, just to avoid typos, let's copy this. So let's paste it here. Yeah. And we have also, it's not required because we can provide a fallback. And this one is of type locale. So this is our locale, and now let's just return this one. Let's return this. Let's retry it again. Just I will change the mapping here. It will be with header. I will restart the application. Let's go back to Postman, and now let's say accept language. Now let's send. It's still from fallback file. Why? So the reason is here in our config file, or the bean we created for the locale resolver, we are using the session locale resolver, but we need to use the accept header locale resolver. Equals new accept header locale resolver, and now let's just restart the application. Now we see we passed the locale fr, and here it says bonjour tout le monde. Now let's say it's US, send. Now it's hello from US file. Let's say, for example, something which we did not define, and we see it will call it from the fallback file because we do not have a properties file, or we do not have translation file for Netherlands. So it gets the translations from the fallback file. So here, to resume what we did in this small workshop. So the idea behind is to how can we internationalize our Spring Boot applications or REST API applications. So first we create our project, what we did is we created our project, and then we added a configuration for our locale resolver. First we tried the session, and now we moved it, or we changed it to accept header locale resolver, because for example, if you want to use your API with a front end or with a browser, for example, or you want to get the locale from your client browser, so it's better to pass it in the header. So that's why we used the accept header locale resolver. Also, after that, we added some properties to our application properties file, which is Spring messages base name. So here we tell Spring what is the base name to use. In our case, we moved or replaced our properties files under the folder called i18n. And as I mentioned in the beginning, i18n because internationalization stands like between the letter I and the letter N, there is 18 letters in between. So next, what we did also is we created a demo controller, and for the first one, like we pass yeah, the first one is just simple get, and the second one we used a request header which is of type locale. So here we can put it on the same line. And then as we saw on Postman, here depends on the locale we pass. If we have it, so we will fetch the translation. Otherwise, we will get it from the fallback file. So here, let's just retest it again. Here it's bonjour tout le monde, and for the US, now it's hello from US file. So this is all about. I hope the video was really good and helpful for you. Also, don't forget to give me some thumbs up so I can continue producing videos like this for you guys. Also, do not forget to subscribe to my channel, and also like and share. And thank you. See you in the next video.